Welcome back to my channel, everyone. This is Soul Trades. Today is June 18, 2026, and this is trade recap of the day. I took longs today. There was a beautiful shorts opportunity too, so let's go through it. So this is daily time frame, and yesterday was FOMC, and we had this nice bearish day, and we filled this New York opening gap of a couple of days ago, right? So after that, I was already looking for longs because our objective was done, but there were other things that kind of led me to believe that we we're going to be longs, right? So daily time frame, there's nothing in there, to be honest. So this is the 7-hour time frame, and the reason I like 7-hour time frame really is because it kind of distributes a day into Asia, London, and New York. So 1800 would be the Asia. This is the 1 a.m. would be the London, and 8 a.m. would be the New York session, right? So Asia expanded, London consolidated, so New York should expand again. So that's the idea, right? But another thing that I also kind of like it here is this time frame aligns with quarterly auction market theory ranges. So again, this kind of tells me in this quarter where market is possibly gonna go. And as you can see, we have this long as wick, and people call it rejection wick, whatever, rejection block, anything that we're gonna call. But we were back into that area yesterday after FOMC, right? So I was kind of hoping that market would find support from there and go higher. So let's go to 2-hour time frame, and I have made a little bit change in my strategy. I used to not use all of this time frame, but I started using it for auction market theory purposes, right? And it helps me. I used to do it before, and after that, I only started using footprint and 1-minute time frame. But again, this gives you a better context, and it just helps basically, right? So on 2-hour time frame, what can we see on FOMC? This was FOMC, right? This was FOMC trade, or what do you call it? Downside move yesterday, and this purple line is the monthly VWAP. I have marked right here, right? So FOMC made the market go below monthly VWAP, and we snapped back to within the first standard deviation. That's the first standard deviation high. That's the first standard deviation low, right? So what does that tell you? That tells me that market does not want to trade lower. This area within monthly VWAP and monthly first standard deviation low. This area is too cheap for market. That's not fair value. It was right. And where does market go to? Right here, right? It was at fair value. Oh, my bad. That's not what I wanted to do. Let me get rid of that. If you can see, oh my God, come on. Market was at fair value at this range. As you can see, it was at fair value at this range, and then we were imbalanced. So balanced market, imbalanced market, snaps back to balanced market right here, this point of control, this value area high, and then found support, went high, right? So always remember, in auction market theory, market goes from balance to imbalance, back to balance to imbalance, and so on and so forth. And since market told me that it does not want to trade in this balanced range, it doesn't want to trade below monthly VWAP, then I should be looking to target higher, obviously, right? Towards monthly standard deviation high, whatever, weekly standard deviation high, whatever, right? So I was leaning longs by that. And I'll give you a wonderful short trade that we had earlier today right at open. So this is the 30-minute time frame, and this is where the short idea comes from, right? So this is purple line, again, is weekly VWAP, as you can see, weekly VWAP, right? And this was before FOMC market, this is FOMC market, and this is after FOMC market, okay? So before FOMC, we're balanced. In FOMC, we're imbalanced. And then after FOMC, we are finding balance again, right? So what do? I mark volume profile in balance market before FOMC. I don't mark it in imbalance. Again, I've told you guys like a million times, you don't mark volume profile in an imbalance market. Okay, it doesn't give you anything. It just gives you low volume nodes and stuff like that. That doesn't really mean anything, because you want to know where buyers and sellers were agreeing to the market, right? You don't want to know where one side won. That doesn't give you anything. Again and again, fair value again right here, right? So market was at fair value right here, goes back to this fair value right here, and then again snaps back and finds fair value somewhere in here, right? So just like I said, when we were at fair value and we went imbalance into this fair value, it seeks fair value again. What is the fair value before FOMC? This, obviously, right? So I mark this pink zone right here. So if it goes into that fair value where market had initially, buyers and sellers had agreed, that would mean I could get a reaction out of there. Obviously, that's why I mark this value area low and point of control, and that is also weekly VWAP, so that also helps, right? So if I go to 1 minute time frame here for the shorts, this is not the trade I took, but I can still show you, right? That is that pink zone. That is also a volatility trigger, by the way, right? So market opens right here at 9:30. We went there and immediately look at this dump. And if I go here, where is it? This is the delta profile right here. As you can see, we had 783, 455 buyers up here. What do you call it? Delta was at 712, and this closed red. What do you call it? The candle closed red, right? And then immediately we had negative 1111 delta. So what does that tell you? Actually, let me bring trading view right here. And let me do it like that. And let me do it like that, right? So right here, this price action and this order flow is the same thing. Actually, let me get rid of that, right? This price action and this order flow is the same thing. And we are at weekly VWAP. We are at that pink zone where there was previous value, and I have buyer strap there, and I have delta flip there. Obviously, you could take this short, right? Look at that, and the market went to imbalance. Now, I didn't take this because it was right at open, and I always let the first couple minutes go by, right? Now, when market was at this imbalance, right, where is the most likely scenario it would go to? Obviously, where there is in the market, and where's the is the first standard deviation of current session, right? And it also happened to be the weekly standard deviation low. If I go to 30-minute, right, this blue line is the weekly standard deviation low, and see on weekly time frame, this is balanced market. So if we are balanced, we should go from lower A's to upper A's and upper A's to lower A's, right? So if we are at VWAP and we push market all the way down to lower A's of the weekly standard deviation, I should expect market to bounce back again from there, right? And that also happens to be this green line is also the session standard deviation low, so that's also nice. And I have this volume profile of this overnight session, and that also happens to be the value area low of the overnight session. So everything kind of aligns in here, 4 or 5 confluences. I don't know, 3, 4, 5 confluences. And if I come here in delta profile right here, I didn't take this one because that's not enough trap sellers to me, which would be somewhere in here. It's not really too much sellers in there. And the candle right before that, we had 401 max delta, but candle close like that, so that doesn't show strength, right? But so I waited a little bit, and market was kind of struggling, so I knew longs were coming, so I waited for delta flip. We got this negative 267 delta right here in this candle here, 167 delta, even the candle closed red, and over here 285 delta with all these trap sellers. As you can see, all these trap sellers, and yeah, when buyers came, I just took it. And where should your TP be? Again, your TP is again upper edge of value. What would be the upper edge of value? The first standard deviation to the upside, right? VWAP kind of gave resistance a little bit. Almost got stopped out, by the way. Almost. I got lucky, to be honest. And then it eventually goes to the upper edge, and you get 24 points. So yeah, that's the trade of the day. And I didn't really use TPO today because there was no reason, but yeah, TPO also gave the same thing, to be honest. So that's it. That's the trade of the day. Thank you very much.